be like them when you just could be you? Why be like them when you just could be you? You can't worry about what they doing, you gotta be you. You can't worry about what they doing, you gotta be you. Be you, be you, be you, be you. You can't worry about what they doing, you gotta be you. Why be like them when you just could be you?
Good evening, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of the BU Podcast. This is Tanya Harris, and I am your host. Today's guest is Courtney Brooks. She's an author and writer. Courtney, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Courtney Brooks. I am from Memphis, Tennessee, but I live in Nashville. I am an alumni, two-time alumni of Tennessee State University, where I received my bachelor's in psychology and my master's in elementary education. Right now, I'm currently in grad school at Lipscomb University, and I am in the Film and Media Arts program, where I'm learning to be a screenwriter and a producer.
Okay, all right. How did you get started in writing?
Well, it's a funny story. I got started when I was 9. I actually started in a journal that my mom gave me for my birthday. And she said I can write anything I wanted to write in there, and nobody would see it but just me and God. So I'm like, I can write what I want. So I started writing my emotions down, my feelings, started writing about my school days. Mm-hmm. And then that writing started turning into poems. And so I started being interested in poetry. And so I started to read books by Maya Angelou. And from there, writing just continued to find itself into my life. In 5th grade, I wrote a poem. I entered a poetry contest and won it. In middle school, I was introduced to creative writing by my teacher. She taught me how to pretty much capture the audience attention with the first line. Mm-hmm. So I was able to write more stories there. And then in high school, I wrote some more, and I was actually in this teen newsletter program where at University of Memphis, where I was able to write the newsletter for my school. Mm-hmm. And so writing has pretty much been a part of my life, all of my life. And so it's just something that I feel like was always meant for me, because it started with me just journaling, and then from journaling it went to me publishing books. So
okay. So what books would you consider a good read?
Ooh, there's too many. I love all types of books. I'm more of a suspense thriller type of person. So one great book that I have read that is a suspense thriller is by this author named Agatha Christie. And she wrote And Then There Were None. That is a great read. For self-help motivational books, I would recommend Iyanla Vanzant. Mm-hmm. And In the Meantime, it's a great read. And if you want to do young adult books, another great read is Tears of a Tiger by Sharon Draper. So yes, I can have a whole list of books because I love to read. I read a lot. So those are some great books that I would recommend.
Okay. So you say you started writing when you were younger. So when you were a child, rather. So is that when you knew you wanted to become a writer? You know, some kids when they're younger, I want to become a doctor or, you know, a lawyer or something. So you want to become a writer. You knew that when you were younger, right?
Yes, I did. That was the main thing. That was my main goal the entire time. And so when I was 25, I decided to make that happen. I was like, I have to do this, because if I don't do it, I'm probably going to regret it later in life. So I knew at the age of 9 that I wanted to be a writer.
Okay. So you've written 2 books. Your first book is She?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Tell us about that. What does She represent?
Yes, so it's actually was supposed to be a series of books, the She series, and She stands for Serenity, Hope, and Encouragement. So the first book is a daily motivational book that I wrote in 2015. She for everyday motivation. It's a book that you read day by day, but people have been reading it in like 3 days, which I'm fine with. Once you get the book, it's yours. You can read it however you want to. There's questions in the book that helps you to further interpret what you've already read and reflect, because when I write, I wanted to write for the audience and have them think about their life. I don't want to be the person that tells you what you need to do. I want you to be the person to tell you what you need to do with your life. And so that's the reason why I wrote the self-help motivational book. And then my second book that I wrote after that is She for the Single Woman. And that book is just for women, basically teaching you how to love yourself and date yourself before you find love anywhere else, because I wish someone would have told me this, but you are your first love.
Okay.
Like, you shouldn't be looking for it. It'll come to you when it's time. You are your first love. Until then, do you do better with your craft, whatever you want to do. Start your business, write your books, love yourself, date yourself, get to know you before you give you to anyone else. And I wrote that book when I was single, not single anymore, so that means the book works.
Okay.
So yeah, those are my 2 books that I have published so far.
Okay. So do you read your reviews, and how do you deal with good ones or bad ones?
The thing is, I haven't really had any bad reviews. My first book, I didn't have an editor. Well, I'll take that back. I didn't have a editor that was in the publishing company. I actually had reached out to one of my my former cheerleading coach and my former English. She's also my former English teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to her, Miss Irvin. She's Miss Tiffany Irvin. She's amazing. She helped me with my first book and also my second book with editing. The second time I got an editor, and the only bad review that I probably had was my first book. There were a little mistakes, but not to just my sentences could have been constructed a little bit better.
Okay.
And it's me from learning. I just wanted to make sure that when I had an editor, a professional editor, that it wasn't something. I wanted it to still be my words. I didn't want them to take the words and it's like I get the book and I didn't write any of this. So that's the reason why I said it wasn't a bad review, but more so of a more feedback to receive to make it better for the second one. But I haven't had any bad reviews yet, thankfully. But I'm always open to feedback to grow and become better.
Okay. If you had the ability to go back in time, what would you do differently?
I would probably get a literary agent first.
Okay.
And I say this because when you're self-publishing, you don't really get paid as much. I'm not doing this for the money, but I just want to make sure that my work gets out there more so that I can help more people. And I feel like with a literary agent and with the marketing company, I probably could have marketed my books better. It's hard when it's just you and you're the one doing everything. You're the marketer, the editor, you're doing everything yourself. So if I can go back into time, I probably would publish my first book with an actual publishing company. And actually get a literary agent to represent me instead of me doing all the work by myself.
Okay. So what do you like to do when you're not writing?
I like to binge watch TV shows because on Netflix, I like to do that because for one, it gives me ideas for when I'm in screenwriting classes and maybe I can have an idea of what to write next. So I just binge watch Bridgerton on Netflix by Shonda Rhimes. I love Shonda Rhimes. Okay. So anything she does, I watch it. So yes, Netflix, or I am on Amazon shopping, just buying stuff just because.
All right. So what is your favorite book?
My favorite book would have to be Tears of a Tiger by Sharon Draper. Okay. That book stuck with me, and I read it in high school. And I don't want to give too much away in case anybody wants to read it, but that book really, really stuck with me and taught me the value of friendship and the value of just life itself. So if you are looking for a great read, check out Tears of a Tiger by Sharon Draper. She has all formats, so you can purchase it, but it's a very great book. A little sad, but it will stick. It's one of those books that sticks with you after you read it.
Okay. Any final thoughts?
No, I'm just happy to be a part of the BU podcast and looking forward to see what all you are doing the rest of this year.
Thank you. And I am so happy to have you here. So do you have any events coming up or, anything you like to share?
As of right now, I do not have any events coming up. Normally I would do like book signings, or I would do like book author events, but since COVID hit last year, I really put a halt to all of that. Looking to do more virtual things like this. Okay. I am working on my third and fourth book, so looking to get one of those books out this year. Okay. Also been working on some scripts, some scripts for the movies and things like that. So just pretty much just writing. So when the time is right, I'll be able to publish them.
Okay, great. So where are you located? Any social media pages and Instagram, Facebook? So if anyone wants to purchase your book or just keep up with you and see what you got going.
Yes, so my website is Courtney B. Writes, and it's WRITES.com. And on there, it gives you a link to the Amazon books. My books are on Amazon. They're on Barnes & Noble. You can also get them from the Westboro Press website, which is a website that I self-publish with.
Okay.
But the easiest way to get my books would be on Amazon. Just type in Courtney Brooks, and you'll see my books pop up. Instagram handle and all of that is Courtney B. Writes at Courtney B. Writes. So I can be found there on Instagram. I do have a fan page on Facebook called Courtney Brooks, but I'm rarely on there. I'm more active on the Instagram. So I post motivational quotes on there, some pictures and things. So would love to have you follow me, and I'll be sure to follow back.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. And thank you guys for watching the BU podcast. This is Tanya Harris. Tune in for another episode. And don't forget to check out Courtney B. Writes on Facebook.com. Thanks again. And I salute your business.